What's going on, you glorious motherfuckers? Stone Tiger here, and sorry I haven't uploaded anything in a while. This is just gonna be a quick announcement before I get on to the actual topic of this video. I've been dealing with exams with my actual schoolwork, and I've been working on editing a video, and I tried out a new editing style on the software I use, which is VSDC. It's free, it's good, it's what I've been using. Problem is, when I edit, it crashes about every like 20 minutes. Problem there is, well, usually it only takes me maybe 15 minutes to edit video, usually, if I'm not doing anything fancy. This new editing style requires a lot of editing, and yeah, in about maybe half an hour I get 2 minutes into the video, like 2 minutes edited, and it's like a good 20-minute video. So once that's done, I will be moving on to a new editing software that I bought, Vegas Pro. I'll be trying that out, learning it, and then we'll get back to making videos. But yeah, that's sort of my half-assed excuse. Anyways, on to the actual topic. So we are now in 2018, and one of my favorite games in the past few years that I keep going back to is the Borderlands franchise. It's one of my all-time favorite few games. I played Borderlands 1 over and over and over again with friends. I was originally Mordecai the Hunter with Bloodwing, first ever character, played through using Sledge's shotgun from the start of the game to against the Destroyer of Worlds, actually. And then I played every other character once. Then we got the Borderlands 2, and I played through every character twice, both playthroughs, which that amounts to, well, except Krieg, I only played through once with him. I mean, both normal and ultimate volume mode with him, but yeah, so that amounts to, what, maybe close to 12 characters, each one doing 2 to 3 playthroughs of the game. So needless to say, I fucking love Borderlands. Know how I'm leaving out the pre-sequel because I only actually played through that game once, which I will get to my problems with. But this video, because we are in 2018, there's been quite a lot of talk recently about Borderlands 3, which when that comes out, I would very much love to do a playthrough of it with friends if I can find any. Heavy Metal Kodo would be amazing. I also have Ender, which if he was willing to play it, I would also play it with him. But if I can't find anyone, I will still be doing a fucking playthrough on single player if I have to, because I love Borderlands. So I decided, fuck it, other people are making these videos, I might as well jump on the bandwagon. So I decided to make a list of things I want to see in Borderlands 3. Now for this, it's not just my opinion, I also consulted with my friends that I played through the Borderlands games with. So it's not just my opinion, so if you disagree with something, it's not just me you have a problem with, but you are also allowed to have your own opinion. This is just what we could think of. So, one of the first things, 4-player co-op. It's been in all the other games, don't fucking change it, we will be fine. Second thing, slag. I personally really like the slag element that they brought in Borderlands 2, and I understand that they couldn't fit it into the pre-sequel, and so they gave us cryo. Cryo would be okay if they brought it back, but we definitely need slag back. It was a really nice element, it went really nicely with a lot of the action skills. It was just a good element, although in playthrough 3 it was really needed to actually play through it and do any reasonable damage. So yeah, bringing slag back is, I think, an almost must-have. One of my favorite guns was, it was like the slag or something like that. It was one of the ones in Borderlands 2 you got at the end of the Bandit War, the Clan War storyline. If you side with the Zaffords that did electrical damage and slag, so it's like dual elemented, and because my favorite character was Gage, using her skills that way when you do electric damage also it's fire, it was essentially a gun that did 3 fucking elements. So yeah, I really have a I kind of fell for using slag. Then I just like calling people slags. It got me into using that saying, even though I'm pretty sure it's a British thing. Third thing I would like to see in Borderlands 3. Literally, I have a list made on fucking Google Docs. I'm just going down. Better customization. Now, Borderlands 1, for the first game in the series, it had fine customization. I don't fault it for it, just changing the colors. Borderlands 2, I loved the expansion that they did with the customization, having the skins and the head. The pre-sequel did the same thing, but unlocking them was a huge pain in the ass, which I hated. Again, I was not a fan of the pre-sequel. I can make a whole separate video on pointing out why I didn't like it. But yeah, I think that they should expand even more on the character customization. Now, I want to preface this, I do not like the idea of making custom characters from scratch. I do have one friend who said that he likes this idea. I think it's a terrible, terrible idea. The whole point of Borderlands is essentially you get this character, you play as one of the characters, and that's who you are. You are that character. You're not making yourself in the game. It's not Skyrim. It's you're playing as Mordecai, you're playing as Brick, Salvador, Axton, Maya, Lilith, Creed. You are playing as them. Now you do change them to make it your own unique version of them, which is that I like, using the head system and the skin system. Now I would like is for them to expand on that, adding maybe 2 other layers. And I'm sorry if you can hear a dog bark in the background, that's my sister's dog, which I'm recording this up in my dark room when I have company over. Not a smart idea on my end, but it's too late to go back now. But I would like to see them expand this. An idea I've had for a while that I keep going on and on about, and that my friends are completely tired of fucking hearing about, is how the idea of bringing like shirts and pants. Like that's it, just 2 more tabs, like call it tops and bottoms. Like shirts are just like upper body, bottoms are lower body. That's it. Maybe from each character 5 to 10 options. So that way you can change the head, the top, the bottom, and then the skin is the color scheme. That would add plenty of new customization options and expand it a shit ton. Because like just using Krieg as an example, even though he was my least favorite character in Borderlands 2, he's the one that comes to a lot of people's minds, and I know they love him. Using one of his, changing his head, like the head that comes to my mind is his one that has the buzzsaw like inside of his skull. Maybe a shirt that's like some ripped up t-shirt or something like that. It's something maybe stupid that has like a pink or I guess the skin would change the color, but like a shirt with like a unicorn on it that's all ripped up. Give him pants that maybe have like spikes running down them or something like that. And then you can completely change it using the skin, so it's changing the color of everything. You can adjust the head, do something else. Essentially getting just new looks and more customization options. You know, different combinations that way. We're still having our own characters we're playing as, but we're all making our own versions of them, because I love customization. Now, while I'm on the topic of characters, my next thing is for new characters. I do not want to see any of the recurring characters. I want to see them, but not as the playable characters. I do not want to play as Mordecai. I do not want to play as Brick, Lilith. We can't play as Roland. Any of the people from Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, just no. And I don't want to see Tiny Tina being a playable character. I don't want to see Crazy Earl or Torg or any of them. I think that they work great as NPCs. They give out quests. I love their personality. I fucking love Torg. He's my all-time favorite character in Borderlands. Second being Scooter, third being Moxie. Fucking love all of them. But I do not want to see them being an actual character that we play as. For new characters that they create from scratch, with their own personalities, own action skills, that I think is great. Now, if they want to add even more than 4, I'm fine with that, but I think 4 to start out with, maybe DLC, or if they want to add even more right off the bat, more than fine with. I would implore 2K to do that, and I would be amazed. But I don't think it's needed. My next topic, same thing along the lines of characters. I do not want to see Handsome Jack being the main focus again. I think we have milked Handsome Jack for all he is fucking worth. The pre-sequel made that very, very clear. He was an amazing villain in 2. I think he's up there in my all-time favorite villains. Probably right up there with Voss. And, well, it's in my own personal opinion, but Alex Mercer from Prototype is one of my, probably up there. But yeah, I think he was an amazing villain, but his story's kind of done. We killed him, he's gone. He got brought back in the pre-sequel because it was his story. I thought it was interesting. After playing through the pre-sequel once, I was bored with it, moved on. I played through Tales of the Borderlands, which I know I did a couple videos on, but it's just such a pain in the ass to stream it. I stopped. I didn't think I streamed it. I think I just played through and uploaded videos, but yeah, it was just too much of a pain in the ass. I played through it on my own time. Video recording got corrupted, all that shit. But yeah, I think Jack's story is done. It's over with. I want a new villain, new organization to fight. I don't think it should even be a Hyperion. I think a new organization would be good. Hell, if it's a new organization, maybe we can also get a new gun manufacturer. That would be cool and interesting. But yeah, Handsome Jack's had his time to shine. I think putting him into the back, maybe throw a couple references to him, you know, acknowledge the fact that it happened, don't have it be the main focus. Maybe we can find in a city or something somewhere, if we go back to Opportunity or something, finding like his statue there with like toilet paper and graffiti all over it, maybe Claptrap do a mustache on him. That I think would be fucking funny. My next topic is scaling loot. Now, Borderlands at its core, it's a game based around loot hoarding, let's be honest. The whole thing that it's known for is guns upon guns upon guns. Problem is, if you're like me and my friends, the second you get a main story mission, you don't do it and you go off and do every single side quest. Now, there's a few problems with Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel. One had a completely different problem, but essentially in 2 it was, if you continue to push through in the main story, you felt very underleveled because you weren't doing the side quests. If you went and did all the side quests, you felt completely overpowered and you steamrolled everything. With your guns, if you found a legendary, you were going to be using that legendary for a long time. On the other hand, if you ever went back and like killed enemies, or a lot of the weapon drops you got from completing missions, they don't scale, so a lot of the guns and stuff that you're getting, you're never going to use. I love the Flame of Firehawk shield. I hardly ever get to use it, because by the time I actually get through the quest, I usually have a shield that's much higher. I think having the random loot drops being set to a certain level, that's fine. I think the quests should actually scale a bit towards your level. So that way, let's say if you finish, like using that exact same quest, if you finish you get the Flame of Firehawk shield at like level, I don't even know when you're supposed to get, let's just say 15. It gives it to you at 15. You complete it at 18. It gives it to you at 18 with higher stats. 20 gives you to level 20, but I'd say at that point, they should probably have a cutoff to where it's like 20 is the max. If you go do it past 20, you're easily going to be blowing through the mission anyways. It shouldn't be a problem for you. So it should probably like cap off at 20. Using that type of system, at least that way you have some incentive to go still do the quests for the loot. Because really otherwise you're just doing it for the XP and then you instantly sell the fucking gun. Or shield or whatever it gives you. Speaking of loot, everyone's favorite that I don't want to see are loot boxes and microtransactions. And I know I talk a lot about how I support loot boxes in certain games if they're done right. Borderlands does not need loot boxes, period. It is not a game that needs them. It is not a game that can do them right. Even, I believe it was... Fuck, what's the creator of Borderlands' name? Oh shit, that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna have to put a picture of him in editing. Fuck more editing. Anyways, he even openly said that in an interview, we easily could have done where you pay for the golden keys for the chest in Sanctuary. What they chose was to not do that and instead reward it for following them on social media. That was a genius idea and I applaud them for it. And I would not mind if they did that again. I think that would be awesome. Especially if they make a good game that does not flop like the pre-sequel did. But there's no need for a real loot box system. The whole game is supposed to be about going out, getting guns, farming for guns, killing random shit for guns, opening up a porta potty and finding guns. You do not need a loot box system. It is just straight up not needed. End of discussion. A different thing on that, which is what I sort of touched on earlier, DLC. I want good DLC. I don't mind the Headhunter packs that were in 2. I thought they were a little unneeded, and they could have put it in just like a patch to the game or whatever, included it, no one would have minded. Hell, it would have gotten me playing the game again and grinding for them killing enemies. But I don't mind them doing the head packs. If they do what I suggest for like the customization option where you add tops and bottoms, I would pay even more for the head packs if I gave a skin, a head, a top, and a bottom. Maybe 3 head packs per character. I would at like max of $2. I would still pay that, which depending on how many characters they put in, if they go back up to 6 using DLC characters, which again I don't mind DLC characters, they're good and they're interesting and not just you get to play as Handsome Jack, which I still see as a fucking moronic decision on their part. I like the character and I get that's not Jack, that's a completely different topic, but still. So I don't mind good DLC, I don't. Also, on the same topic of DLC, the DLC quest lines. Borderlands 1 had amazing DLC quest lines. The Rise of Claptrap, or no, it was the Robo-Evolution was amazing. The zombie one was out of place, but I thought it was hilarious, even though I never figured out how to do the Brains quest line. It's just not something I ever learned. On top of that, what was the other one? General Knox's Armory was amazing. That introduced us to Moxie. Shit, I feel like that there was another one. There was Mad Moxie's Underdome, but I felt like there was something else. Anyway, someone else will remind me of it. But Borderlands 2 had good ones. I wasn't a big fan of the Big Game Hunt, but Mr. Torg's DLC I loved. Tiny Tina's DLC was fucking amazing. I'm a huge fan of D&D. I thought it was hilarious. I would have loved if they expanded on it and made it even bigger. I would have paid even more. I loved it. And as long as they do good DLC for Borderlands 3, I don't mind paying for that. And I don't mind buying a new copy that's the year edition with all of it on it. I would love to, and I will pay an extra $80 for a new copy for each system I have, which for me that amounts to like $160, which is like 2 weeks worth of work without me buying food or gas. Yeah, I don't mind it that much. Anyways, on to the next thing. Actually no, going back to DLC, again this is unscripted. Don't do pre-sequel where you only release 2 characters and that's a single DLC. If you're gonna release DLC, release at least, I'd say go back to the Borderlands 2 and 1 formula, release 4 DLC storylines, make them good ones. If you only do one, you're kind of screwing over anyone who bought a season pass. That's just a small tangent. So the next thing is good side quests in the game. And not even just good ones, but a lot of them. I felt the pre-sequel was lacking huge amounts of side quests, which I already brought up how if you do the side quests like me and my friends do in Borderlands 2, you become massively over leveled and you steamroll it through everything, which is somewhat of a problem, but I think it's one of the most fun aspects of Borderlands 2, and I love it for that. I love the feeling of a 4-man squad armed to the teeth just blowing through a storyline mission, feeling like absolute badasses, like 5 to 10 levels over what we're meant to be. It was one of my favorite experiences, and we couldn't do that without Borderlands 2 being packed to the brim with side quests. There's just multiple that stick into my mind. There's the whole Dark Mercy one, which getting the Infinity Pistol, Claptrap blowing up the furnaces. There's the timed ones where you're running around putting stuff into mailboxes, which I may not remember those because I hated them, but I still enjoyed them. The Assassins mission. This Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. There's the one with, the real boy turning the robot and trying to find him a body. There's the other one where you're trying to turn a robot into a real boy and into a human. That's just a small handful of them. What I'm getting at is it was packed to the brim, and I loved it for it. It let me play for hours without even touching the main quest, and when that's something amazing. That's mainly why I love Skyrim and Fallout, because that's the exact same feeling, except getting that in a fast-paced FPS where you're constantly running around and constantly making progress. It's hard to achieve, and yet they found the perfect way to do it. And I think that they can go even bigger, even more side quests, even more shit to do. Again, depending, as something I'm going to touch on a bit later, but depending on how long the game is, I feel like they can do it. The next thing I want to bring up, the fact that in the pre-sequel they took out swearing. Anyone has seen my other videos, you know I am a huge fan of swearing. I just am. It's how I talk, it's how people I know talk, it's how I've grown up. Swearing is just that part of how I talk. Borderlands being a game about bandits who rape, murder, and eat people, and we're running around gutting them and blowing them into tiny meat bits, and fighting off wildlife that's about the size of a truck, followed with characters that are over the top, redneck, or sexual, or violent, and yet in the pre-sequel they took out the swearing. I think the only real thing that they had was the word badass for the badass enemies, but yet they took out anyone who said son of a bitch, to say son of a taint. They got rid of the word midget. Seriously? Really, 2K Australia? You took out midget because that's offensive. The midgets were in Borderlands 1, they were in Borderlands 2, they were, other than the Psycho, I think that they're one of the most recognizable characters. Okay, they're probably overtopped by the Skag, but you get my point. The midgets are just a part of Borderlands. And you changed them to say Little Bandit. No, that's not the same. It's a midget. It's supposed to be funny. You're not playing Borderlands if you're easily offended by shit. Just, if they brought back the swearing, the main game, I don't mind. The pre-sequel was made by 2K Australia, different standards, I get that. But the next game in the series, Borderlands 3, just bring back the swearing, bring back the badasses, bring back the swearing just for the hell of it. I love chasing down bandits with like Zero with his sword, watching them go like, where the fuck did he go? As you like literally slash them in half. It's just part of the fun, it's part of the charm. So, after that, I have written down, I have no idea how long I've been going for. This is really weird. Anyways, again, off script. 1 minute, let me get thing to drink. Probably not even gonna cut that out. Next thing is new planets now. I'm a huge fan of Pandora, and I love it. I love Pandora. I even was a fan of Elpis. Not as big of a fan, but Pandora is probably one of my all-time favorite game settings. I'm a huge fan of deserts, I just am. Fallout New Vegas is one of my all-time favorite games. But I love the desert settings. I love Borderlands 1 with its setting. I love Borderlands 2 because it was a mix of all different environments. Now, I'm saying all this because I want Borderlands 3 to involve Pandora. I don't want it to be, okay, let's forget about Pandora, forget it exists, just walk away. I think a good portion of the game could easily be on Pandora. Even going back to old places we already were, that's no longer under the control of Hyperion. Like, I think if they moved to Sanctuary, like so that way they landed it inside Opportunity and used all of Opportunity as a home base, that I think would work out great. I remember me and my friends clearing out Opportunity of enemies and messing around in it, chasing each other around, playing tag. I think that works great as a home base. But that's Pandora. I do think that they should use other planets. I forget the name of the planet that they reference in Battleborn in the Borderlands, the Easter egg. They bring up, I think it was not Elpis, but it's like fuck, I don't remember what it was. Anyways, they bring up some other planet that's supposed to be even worse off than Pandora. Like, you're supposed to be sitting there going like, thank God you're only on Pandora where you're only gonna get eaten by the wildlife. We should go at least visit that planet because they've referenced it, and I think it's almost a guarantee. Even if it's just Pandora and this other planet, like split 50-50, I think that works out great. They want to throw in even more planets because we saw the number of vaults that there are. We have plenty. We can space out. Borderlands could go out for Borderlands 4 or 5. I wouldn't mind as long as they're all good games. If they start getting kind of crappy, then I'm going to have a problem. But as long as they're good, I don't mind. I don't think we need to cram in like 6 or 7 planets. But I love Pandora, but I do want to see new planets. I want to see new wildlife, new areas. And I think the best way to do that would be to go to a new planet. Now, I just touched on vaults. I do want to bring up... Sorry, my voice is getting kind of scratchy. So, in the past, we've really had one vault, not counting the DLCs. At the end of Borderlands 2, we got the map of the vaults, and we saw the amount of them. What I'm sort of scared of is them cramming in like 4 or 5 vaults into a single game. I don't think that's a smart idea. I think using one vault for the game, 1 or 2 for the DLCs, I think that works out fine. But I think going to like this new planet, finding the main big vault that's there, probably fighting whatever is locked inside, which I haven't, it's just an idea for a storyline of what if all these vaults are actually containers for these terrible monstrosities? Like the vaults are actually like a prison system that the Iridians used, and it just somehow got twisted into their loot. I don't know how that would happen, but I think it makes sense, since every time we open up a vault, there's always something in it that's trying to kill us. But I think having the fight through the game be for that one vault, maybe it's just like Borderlands 1 where it's a race against time in a sense, against other bandits and other vault hunters, and those could be like some of the enemies. Maybe we go up against a new corporation and like a group of vault hunters, like some vault hunter organization, so it's like a 3-way attacking thing of vault hunters that want to abuse the power, a corporation that wants to abuse the power, and then us, which is Sanctuary and Pandora, who wants to essentially lock it up and keep it out of everyone else's hands. I think that would be interesting. But I think if we only go after one vault in the main game, I think that works out great, and it also gives Borderlands the ability to continue after 3, as long as 3 does good. And my list just disappeared. Okay, it's back. So, my next thing, I have maybe 7 more. Again, I don't know how long I've been going at this. Oh god, it's been half an hour. Oh shit. This is gonna be a kind of long video. Anyways, so my next thing is the high level cap. I like Borderlands having its high level cap. Based on the way it's been done in the past with skill trees, I don't think they should change. If they want to adjust them a bit, maybe make this skill trees a bit longer. If they're going to raise level cap, maybe add 1 or 2 more tiers, or keep it the same. Each skill is like 5 points with the capstones at the bottom and like maybe 1 capstone in the middle. I think that works out beautifully. I think it's an amazing leveling system. What I would like to see is the higher level cap being put in, simply where we have more choice, more power, especially when it comes to going into Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, or playthrough 3, forget what it's called. Yeah, because 2 is True Vault Hunter mode and there's Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, yeah. So Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, if they up the level cap, I believe Borderlands 2, I think the original wasn't it 69, and then after that it got raised like 75, I think it was. Something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think if they expand the seal trees a bit, hell, they could add a whole nother tree. I don't know. They can do whatever the hell they want. As long, really, the more they add, the higher I think that they should put the level cap. And I think the higher they put the level cap, the longer we're going to be playing, the longer we're going to be grinding with these characters, the more we're going to get attached to these characters, the more customization for that build we're going to be able to do. Essentially, it's just going to add more, and I like more, and it's going to make playthrough 3 Ultimate Vault Hunter mode so much easier, because let's face it, you kind of needed to be a cheap ass, and every time you level up, go back and farm for a fucking legendary, and then you couldn't continue the game until you got it, along with using slag. It's kind of just how we got used to doing it. So my next thing, so for everyone who played Borderlands 1, you will probably remember the weapon proficiency menu, which they took out of 2 and they didn't put in pre-sequel either. Essentially how this system worked was, through using a specific weapon long enough, the proficiency would get up higher, so that way you had like the SMG, shotgun, sniper rifle, pistol, back. Okay, if you're wondering why there's a jump cut there, that's because my cat unplugged my fucking mic. So yeah, kind of stopped my recording. Anyways, going back to what I was saying about the weapon proficiencies. Back in Borderlands 1, there were multiple types of weapons. The more you use them, the higher the proficiency got. And essentially, you're using shotguns or whatever. You get slight bonuses with damage, accuracy, reload speed, all that stuff. So, through using a specific type, you kind of built your character and your playstyle around using that type. Like I said, I used Mordecai in my first playthrough, and I love Bloodwing to this day, and I legitimately cried when that scene happened. And 2. Yeah, that's a different topic, but that I'm not covering in this video. But yeah, I used Mordecai, which was supposed to be the sniper character. I believe how they did it was, based on the character you played, the proficiency went up faster. Although, I've used Sledge's shotgun throughout the whole game. And when I say the whole game, I mean the whole game. I used it from killing Sledge to killing the Destroyer of Worlds on the first playthrough. Second playthrough, I used it to kill Sledge. And then I used second playthrough Sledge's shotgun to kill second playthrough Destroyer of Worlds. It's just how it worked, because it was an amazing gun, and why I'm still pissed off and salty that they changed it and refused to change it back. Because I want my baby back. But essentially how the like I said, the more you used it, the higher the proficiencies got. So by the end of multiple playthroughs of Borderlands, I believe my my sniper rifle proficiency was like 20, pistol proficiency was like 10, revolvers was like 15, assault rifles were I think 6, SMGs were like 20, shotgun proficiency, Iridian tech was like half of a proficiency, and then shotguns were in like 60-70 range, because it's like all I used was that gun. But because of that, I got such a huge bonus to reload speed that I was reloading my shotguns super fast, and it was just a good way to say, build your character around this type of gun. Build it, like play through and do it. It sort of got replaced by the badass rank system, which I would also like to see come back. I think that they would work great together. Just the badass rank and the weapon proficiency. Essentially anything they give us to help us make and customize our characters and our play styles with them, I think will work out fantastically. So my next thing is something I kind of have the preference a lot here. It's another Borderlands 1 thing. If anyone played through them, well, I've heard a lot of people when it comes to talking about Borderlands 3, they say don't give us the versus multiplayer. Don't turn it into Battleborn, which I agree. Don't do that. Battleborn, I thought was most people agree it was a flop, and I don't want to see that become a thing. But when a lot of people say don't give us some 4-on-4 versus mode, a lot of people forget that was a thing back in Borderlands 1. Except I believe all you could do was 1-on-1 and 2v2. And the dueling mechanic has always been in Borderlands in every game so far. What the versus arenas were more of a, you're staking stuff on the line, it could be 2-on-2, you're working together with friends, and it's a versus thing in a small arena. I think there were only 2 in the game, but yet they were interesting, they were fun. Me and my friends messed around with them a little bit, but by the time we actually got around to playing it, a lot of people had already stopped playing Borderlands and moved on to the next best thing. Borderlands 2, there's still people to this day that play it, but yet they didn't put the arena system in. I would like to see the arena system come back. I think like setting up the arena system to work with 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4, just quick matches. Once you're dead, you don't respawn. Like just quick matches like that. You can bet weapons and money and iridium. Just online matches just for fun. No real ranking system or anything like that. Maybe a quest or something like that. Some small quest line based around it. Just throwing them in there as an option for people to do. Don't make it mandatory. Don't make it the main focus. Just an side option as something to do. Just like the arena survival missions. They're not necessarily the main focus. People don't talk about them that much, but yet they're there. They're interesting and they're fun for a while. I think the versus arena could be the same thing, and I like the idea of, if they had them in Borderlands 2, a battle of 4 Kriegs versus 4 Kriegs. You guys can't lie and tell me that that doesn't sound like an awesome fight. This kind of goes along with an past thing, this next one, about the new planets, but I want new bandits, new wildlife, and new enemies. Essentially, Elpis was interesting. We got a couple new enemies like the Kragans and stuff. We got to see how the Threshers got to Pandora because they were originally from Elpis, it turns out. But, so, except Terramorphous, which I'm still confused how he was on Pandora and Sealed Away, but that's a different thing. So, I love the enemies we have. I've grown to love them. I legitimately thought for a long time about getting a tattoo of the Psycho Mask. I decided against it for now, but I love the enemies that we have. Now, I want to see new ones. I want to see new wildlife. I want to see new bandit tribes. Just because giving us the same enemies over and over again, a large part of the fun of Borderlands, I'd say about a quarter of the fun is the story, a quarter of the fun is getting the loot, and another quarter of the game is using the story and loot as an excuse to blow shit up. And blow people and things up. And send a beautiful red mist all over everything. I love it. It's one of the most fun things, but eventually it gets stale killing the same shit over and over again. In the pre-sequel, all we really, it felt like we had were the Moon Bandits, Hyperion, or not even Hyperion staff, people who took over the Hyperion moon base, and Kragans. That's really all I felt like we had. Borderlands 2 was better, as it felt like the bandits were different. We had Hyperion staff, we had the robots, we had Skags, Thrashers, Chrysalisks, the Varkids. We had a lot more, which several of those were new and added into Borderlands 2. I want to see them add even more enemies. Keep the old ones, keep them, like I said, on Pandora. If we go to a new planet, new wildlife, new environment, throw in new types of enemies that are just new, mind-blowing, change up how we fight. I think that would just be awesome, and I would implore them to do that. This next thing, we only have 2 more, and this is one of those. More loot. And I already touched on this a little bit with loot scaling, but the game Borderlands is based around being a loot hoard. It just is. And really, it's known and it's won awards, for God's sake. It's just the amount of loot they cram into the game. And yes, I know they use an auto gun generator, and I don't fault them for that. The more options that they put in for the generator to make, the more guns we're going to get. I forget the slogan they had of, it has a billion guns in it. Borderlands 3, I think they could easily get up to 1 trillion. If they added new weapon manufacturers, that's one way they could do it. Different parts for different guns, like for the current manufacturers. Add in original guns for quests is always fun. And then there's our favorites, which are the legendary guns. How Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel worked was, there was 1 legendary bandit shotgun, 1 legendary bandit assault rifle, 1 legendary bandit SMG, 1 legendary Vladoff SMG, 1 legendary Vladoff shotgun. There's 1 legendary weapon type and weapon manufacturer is how it works. I think that if they take out that stipulation, add in a couple different legendary shotguns for Tori, a couple different legendary SMGs for Vladoff, add in so that way there's multiple different legendaries for that type, not limit themselves, we can get different combinations. Maybe throw in, because it kind of became the usual of, you use the bee, you use the Unkept Herald with the Slagga as Salvador, and you pretty much destroy everything. The only real way they could fix that is if they did what they did to Conference Call and make it so that way you go for being able to crack your moon in half through your shooting nerf bullets. Which no one likes nerfs, especially in a game like Borderlands. You don't like being nerfed, it's not fun. If they throw in multiple different legendaries, that way you can still feel overpowered, but it's not everyone using the same weapon. Like, if we just have multiple different weapon types, multiple different overpowered weapons, I don't think it should be a problem. And I think we all just love seeing the ultimate weapons and the crazy shit that they do. Again, I feel like everyone has their first experience with a legendary. Either my first that come to mind are the Conference Caller, watching the crazy amount of bullets that spawn. And then there was my first time seeing the Nukem, which I get that it's not a good gun, but yet seeing the nuke go off, it's not something you forget, seeing a nuke in Borderlands. So, here's my last thing that I'm gonna say, and it's the last thing for the video. I guess I'm recording this at like 10 o'clock at night, but as long as they make a good game, I will be happy. A good game is really all I'm asking for. This is just really a wish list of stuff that they don't need to do, but would be appreciated and would make it an even better game than Borderlands 2. Again, I said I love Borderlands, and I love the Borderlands franchise. It's been one of my favorite things. Back in middle school, me and my friends played through Borderlands 2. We spent hours instead of doing classwork and in the back of our notebooks drawing out skill trees for custom-made characters. We which I still have somewhere in my room under all my boxes of crazy shit. I have essentially like, I think a good 12 different character concepts drawn up with fully made skill trees. And essentially, it's a passion of mine. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It's honestly part of my childhood at this point, which feels weird to say, but it's one of my all-time favorite games. And I want Borderlands 3 to be good, and I don't want it to be a flop like the pre-sequel. Which is why I'm happy to hear Gearbox and 2K are taking their time with it, that they openly said that they could push out another pre-sequel easily, and then they could do a cash grab, and yet they're not. They're taking their time because they love Borderlands, and they want it to be good, which I am more than happy with. I will be willing to wait till 2019 for Borderlands 3, as long as it comes out good, as long as they make a good game. That's all I ask for Borderlands 3. Anyways, if you guys have any thoughts on Borderlands 3, any of the topics, maybe I might cover what we've heard about Borderlands 3 so far in a separate video. This one's long. Again, I made it just to show I am still alive. I'm just editing videos, and I have exams going on, which makes making videos a real pain in the ass and it's real hard on time. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Follow me, I don't know, on Twitter, which is in the description, or Snapchat at the end of the video. Anyways, I will see you glorious motherfuckers in the next video. Bye!